Compared to the veteran Vikings, the Cowboys were toddlers, a team who would take tentative, hesitant steps until they gained their playoff legs. Head coach Tom Landry knew well that despite Minnesota's imposing record, the Northmen were not a team of supermen. His team had played the much tougher schedule, while the Vikings had played only 3 teams with winning records and had lost 2 of the games. Victory for Dallas depended on how well their doomsday defense handled number 44, Chuck Foreman, the first Viking ever to rush for 1,000 yards, a man who led the NFC in receiving, touchdowns, and points scored. Chuck Foreman gained just over 50 yards because number 79, Harvey Martin, closed down inside. And number 72, Ed Too Tall Jones, shut down the outside and denied Foreman a channel to the sidelines. However, the heart of the Viking offense is Fran Tarkenton, a quarterback with a unique gift for exploiting a defense with his second and third receivers. Dallas closed off this strategy and then immobilized another prong of Minnesota's attack. Tarkenton utilizes his setbacks as receivers better than any quarterback in football. Between them, Chuck Foreman and number 49, Ed Marinero, caught an astounding 127 passes. But Dallas linebackers, like number 50, D.D. Lewis, read their keys perfectly, and they were burned on just one occasion when Tarkenton found Marinero in the soft area of the Cowboy zone. Dallas dominated Minnesota defensively because they refused to allow Fran to float and drift in a moving pocket. The Cowboys' defensive ends contained the flanks and funneled Tarkenton inside, where tackles like number 54, Randy White, simply ate him up. The most offensive play Minnesota could manage in the first half was a Neil Clabo punt. When number 43, Cliff Harris, thought better of fair catching Clabo's kick, the first break of the game occurred. Number 67, rookie tackle Pat Donovan, thought the ball had caromed off Harris's leg. It did not, and his overzealous play turned into a Viking recovery and led directly to the first score of the game, a 1-yard touchdown slam by Chuck Foreman. While Dallas' hopes crashed on the rocks of a rookie mistake, the veteran Vikings seized a toehold in the game and led 7-0. Dallas moved the ball consistently on Minnesota, but had not scored, mainly because of the disruptive influence of Viking defensive end Carl Eller, number 81. Eller proved convincingly that at age 33, he has not lost the speed that has made him a consistent All-Pro. Mainly due to Carl Eller, Roger Staubach and the Cowboys were held scoreless in the first half. The best way to cool down a hot player is to stay away from his side, and Dallas did. The Cowboys used the fast charge of Minnesota's other end, number 70, Jim Marshall, to their advantage by dumping screen passes to Preston Pearson, the Cowboys' total offense leader in 1975. Pearson was easily the most valuable acquisition Dallas made this season, and his pick-a-hole style of running and long flowing stride chewed up the Vikings' deep defense. After many fruitless attempts, the Cowboys tied the game on a simple blast by Doug Dennison, number 21. Dennison's touchdown and a later Tony Frisch field goal gave Dallas a 10-7 lead. It wasn't until late in the last quarter that Minnesota finally marshaled their first sustained drive of the game. Number 33, Brent McClanahan, provided the impetus and eventually the go-ahead touchdown. Finally, the game seemed well in hand at 14-10, and Viking diehards began a countdown to victory and looked ahead to the NFC Championship. With 1:51 left on the clock, the Cowboys' situation looked hopeless, but Dallas had its shotgun, the #1 offense in the NFC, and their magic man, wide receiver Drew Pearson, number 88. But in the clutch, the shotgun went blank when several times the seemingly simple exchange from center to quarterback went awry. Dallas was forced to bring in rookie Kyle Davis at center, and with it, 4th and 16, Roger Staubach needed a miracle. Roger got it from Drew Pearson, whose disputed catch gave Dallas a breath of life at the 50-yard line. The Vikings claim Pearson landed out of bounds when in fact he was pushed out by Nate Wright, number 43. One thing that cannot be faulted is the execution of the play. Number 70, Rayfield Wright, drove number 81, Carl Eller, all the way from Minneapolis to St. Paul. And this allowed Staubach time to locate Pearson, whose concentration in the clutch is second to none. Dallas had reached midfield, but the clock was working against them. Like a cow with his cud, Bud Grant gave his chewing gum a fierce working over, as with 32 seconds remaining, Dallas faced a prevent defense geared to give ground grudgingly. From the shotgun, Staubach unleashed what he later described as a Hail Mary pass. The dial-a-prayer was answered by Drew Pearson, whose unbelievable catch turned sure defeat into absolute victory for the Dallas Cowboys. Pearson, the Cowboys' leading receiver, had been shut out by Minnesota all game until the last minute and 51 seconds. In the final drive, Staubach completed 4 passes, all of them to Drew Pearson. However, the Vikings built their championship dreams not on miracles but on solid football, and they believed that Pearson had interfered with defender Nate Wright on the play. Another look affords a unique vantage point from the end zone. Once a pass is thrown, the ball is free, and both receiver and defender have an equal right to it. In this instance, Drew Pearson seemed to want it a little bit more than number 43, Nate Wright. Drew Pearson's heroics have almost become commonplace in Dallas. He is already indelibly etched in history by the miracle of Thanksgiving Day and his reception of Clint Longley's pass against the Redskins. For Dallas, who didn't even expect to make the playoffs, the victory was especially gratifying. But in point of fact, it was deserved also, because for 60 minutes they had outplayed and out-hit a Viking team that was almost a surefire choice to end up in the Super Bowl. The mantle of Cinderella team has now been passed from the Baltimore Colts to the Dallas Cowboys. However, this week against the Los Angeles Rams, the bubble may burst and Dallas may turn into pumpkins once again.